Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters.
Ah.
Yeah, good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday. And today is a beautiful Friday. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yes, and all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, he is known to be a great patriot, but from time to time, he likes to beat me in fantasy football drafts on Fridays on Scout Team Sports. And that would be...
Yeah, it's your boy Chris America coming to you live this Friday, January 25th, 2019. Loudbeard, it is get down, get dirty, let's have some fun, party it out. Friday, are you ready for the weekend, Loudbeard?
Always ready for the weekend. After a long work week, after a long week of just grinding, it becomes the weekend, and all of a sudden, everything is forgiven. You get to relax, you get to enjoy yourself, and this weekend is no different. I'm excited about the weekend, but you got to finish strong. Fridays is the perfect day to finish strong, and that's what we're going to do here on Scout Team Sports. Right, Chris America?
Right, Loudbeard, and I want to start shows off with trashing Saints fans. Are you good with that? I'm ready to bring you over to our side. You've been supporting the Saints fans, but I found a video that kind of went viral yesterday that I think might change your mind. Are you ready for it?
I am. I didn't get a chance to watch the video, but I saw people tweeting about it, and I saw the video, and I just haven't listened yet. So this is new to me. I get to experience it all brand new right here on the air. Oh, go ahead, Chris America.
We will get a visceral reaction. I like it. Well, hopefully when I press play, it'll play, because you know how my internet doesn't like to cooperate. Nope. Of course it's not going to work.
10-3, we were coming for that second ring.
All right, let me take care of the technical difficulties, figure out why it's not playing. You can hear it?
Yeah.
That's weird. I can't hear it. Oh, because my headphones are on.
What the hell are you doing? How much more of the NFL could you possibly ruin?
What are we going to do with
There's
that,
a
Chris
foul
America?
play, and I'm
Listeners,
ready to
what are we
call
going to
it.
do with him?
Refs line in their pockets when Commish opens his wallet.
Saints got robbed, where's the flag? Super Bowl bound and they had it in the bag. Saints got robbed, who that, who that? The refs rigged the game and we want a rematch. Saints got robbed, who that, who that? Saints got robbed, who that, who that? Saints got robbed, who that, who that? Saints got robbed and we want a rematch. Won't let them win. When the refs won't let them win. Oh, the Saints were clearly the champions till the refs bird box challenge. Saints got robbed, where's the flag? Super Bowl bound and they had it in the bag. Saints got robbed, who that, who that? The refs rigged the game and we want a rematch. Saints got robbed, who that, who that? Saints got robbed, who that, who that? Saints got robbed, who that, who that? Saints got robbed and we want a rematch.
All right,
give him
Loudbeard.
quality on production. The production quality there, I got to give him props on that. That was great production quality.
Production quality's great. Her voice is great. She also
Yeah.
looks good. But the
Okay.
lyrics, come on, Loudbeard. Come on.
They got robbed. What else do you want me to say? They're the real champions.
Oh,
Everybody
Loudbeard,
knows it.
you're entrenched.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't love this whole Saints thing, but again, I'm not against them speaking out. Some people take it too far. I translate it to the UCF, the fake national champion. I'm putting that in air quotes because they are real
Come
national
on, they're not even
champions, but
remotely in the same realm of things.
Okay.
One is
I'll give you
Loudbeard.
that.
One is UCF is claiming a national championship in a ridiculous national championship system that the NCAA has, where there's 13 NCAA national selectors. The other one is just, hey, you got screwed over by a bad call, but you had a drive in the overtime and you failed. If UCF were to have gone to the college football playoff and still failed, then you'd be like, all right, UCF, like you got your chance to win the national championship, the one that we all watched and love, and you didn't win, but you're still claiming a national championship, then we would be like, not just half of America, but all of America would be like, UCF, go away, dude. Like, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. You got me sold. I'm turning over a new leaf on this one. I just like bringing up UCF national championship.
I know.
17 only
But so
undefeated
did-
champions. But
So do other people. Other people were
No.
like, so do the Saints like to get to claim the championship like UCF did?
yeah. There's
like,
a little
wow,
bit
I
of a
haven't heard that one
relationship
before.
there, but UCF's got a much more valid claim, especially since it's in the NCAA record books. But that's a different story. Let's go back to the Saints. This was a fun song. Again, I'm not against people talking out and trying to get their point across. Does it go too far sometimes? Absolutely. Is this song absolutely ridiculous? Yes, it is absolutely ridiculous, but it's fun. Go Saints fans, do what you've got to do. You're going to get the ridicule. You're going to get the criticism. Expect the rest of the world to come down on you, and that's what's going to happen, and that is what's happening right now. So you do that, and good luck with it, but I'll just be a casual observer and enjoy the show.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. People are talking about boycotting the Super Bowl, and I just kind of laughed that off. Oh, man.
Yeah, okay. That's not going to work out too well. The Super Bowl is a big deal, man. No matter whatever controversy going into it, the Super Bowl is always a big deal, and I don't care what happened to the Saints. It's still going to be a big deal. All right, well, man, that's craziness. You just got me off on a crazy tangent this morning. You got your who datin and what datin and who dayin and all that you do over there.
All right,
Just
what did you have planned for the show, Loudbeard?
All right, well, let's look forward to what we can talk about on the show. All-Stars announced, the starting All-Stars for the NBA. We also have Pro Bowl weekend coming up. We can talk 15 seconds about that. Tiger starts his first round at the Farmers Insurance Open, his first round of 2019. Cam finally decides to opt for surgery. He's going all in. Depot has been confirmed out for the season. And, of course, you and I have some debates coming up that we've been talking about on text. So if you want to embrace debate, stay tuned for what the Scout team has to offer. That's right, America. Embrace debate.
Loudbeard, you mentioned the All-Star for the NBA team being picked, and it inspired me to create an idea. So in the month of February, end of January, beginning of February, we have 3 All-Star games that go on. You have the NHL All-Star, which is NHL All-Star Week this week. I was looking for hockey games last night, and I thought my NHL Center Ice internet pass was broken because sometimes when you load it up, it'll have previous days things, and then it'll just say like there's no games available or something. So I have to like restart it. So I restarted it 5 times before I realized that they're on the All-Star break.
Wow. Good job.
I'm
Good
like,
job.
why is this thing
Very
not
proud of
loading
you.
up the games? Like, this is frustrating. But
If
okay,
you're
so
in Canada right now listening on the Barn Burner
they're laughing
Network,
at
make
the-
sure that you tweet at Chris Scout Team and let him know what a fool he is for thinking
Yeah.
there was hockey on last night.
Chris America, the American idiot. I want to be an
American idiot.
American idiot.
Perfect.
All right.
You nailed it.
So we have the NHL All-Star Game, the NBA All-Star Game, and the Pro Bowl. I think these 2 leagues, who all of them are wondering what they can do to get more viewership, and they've come up with stupid ways to make the games more competitive, when really we just don't care. Like, who cares? It's an exhibition game. So what I think we need to do is we need to have all 3 All-Star games in the same location and sort of mix and match the sports. Like, instead of like skill challenges, like I want to see Rob Gronkowski on ice skates shooting a hockey puck. I want to see who else? I want to see LeBron James. I do want to see LeBron James lined up at tight end. Maybe they don't have to play tackle football. They can play flag football because obviously no fan wants to see their favorite player on their team get injured due to an all-star mix and match game, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of absorbing in this idea, Chris America. This is
It just came
it's
to
an
me.
interesting
it just
idea.
hit me in the face.
It would maybe need to be more like a skills challenge. So even playing flag football, I think on the NBA side, they would be nervous. Like a guy like LeBron James, for example, he could easily twist something, blow out a knee, do something like that. So that would be rough. But would you like to see LeBron James in a 3-point contest against Connor McDavid from the Oilers? Like putting two different sports together against each other in another sport. Like that would be good. Or shooting contest in hockey. You put them down there. They're one-timing it like crazy, and you've got James Harden and Drew Brees going against each other in a one-timing.
What about this? We put LeBron James in goalie pads, and then the all-star goalies try to shoot goals on him.
Okay, there we go. That's not a bad idea. Why don't we put the Golden State Warriors all in goalie pads, and then the rest of the league just has to keep pelting them with pucks?
You just want the Warriors to get hurt.
Just bring them down. Bring them down. That's what we need to do. We've seen enough of the Golden State Warriors over the last few years. Maybe a few hockey pucks in the nuts would hurt their chances this year. Who knows? Anything like that would help, Chris America.
Yeah, man, I'd like to see what Subban can do, on the basketball court or the football field.
It'd be a lot of fun. And the football field, though, again, I don't think they would actually play a game, but it would be fun watching them trying to just do the skills challenge with other athletes. That would actually interest me. We had the skills challenge just take place for the Pro Bowl. I had no desire in watching it. I don't care what the outcome is. We already know these guys have skills. But I will say on the basketball side, I enjoy the All-Star break on the basketball side more than I do on football. And I'm still a rookie at this whole hockey thing. I'm trying to get into it, so I need to get involved with this hockey All-Star weekend this weekend.
All right. But I got one more idea. 3-on-3 basketball game. Crosby and Ovechkin play each other. They're captains, and they can select any two All-Stars to join them.
Ooh,
NBA All-Stars.
That's fun. That would be fun. Right there, you brought the interest of hockey into basketball. Like both sports would want to watch that. And then you could do the same thing on the hockey side, and you could bring in a larger audience. I mean, Chris America, you're a freaking genius, man. You're an absolute genius. Did anybody ever tell you that?
Thank you, sir. Yeah,
No?
we actually have a drop for that too.
No, yeah. Is that what you
Or did
want
you
me to-
delete it?
Oh, I got rid of it because I know that you're not a genius.
How the hell do you know that?
Because I'm a genius.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think it said I'm a genius, which means I'm a genius, not you. But we'll go ahead and give you credit for that one idea. Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right?
And then it could be kind of like Harry Potter, where the game's not over until you catch the snitch. The game's not over until one of those two hockey players slam dunks a basketball.
Okay. And there's a snitch. All right.
No, you gotta slam dunk the basketball, or else the game doesn't end.
All right, whatever.
But
All
it
right,
has to come from the two hockey players.
I'm going to share what these starting All-Stars for the NBA were, and we can let me know if you think any of these are surprises or whatnot. So LeBron James is captain, gets the most votes. He's the great LeBron, even though he's injured. He's still LeBron. And then on the West, so you've got Kevin Durant, Paul George, Steph Curry, James Harden, and LeBron James as your 5 starters in the Western Conference. The only one there that was close, Paul George and Anthony Davis both came in tied for that last spot on the front court. And Paul George ended up winning by the fan votes being a little bit higher than Anthony Davis. So Paul George squeaks past Anthony Davis in that starting lineup. On the Eastern side, Giannis is the captain, which is fantastic. He is the next big superstar in the NBA, and he's shown that he is potentially the MVP of this season. Giannis captain, then you've got Kawhi, Joel Embiid, your boy Kyrie Irving, and then Kemba Walker. And Kemba Walker actually sneaked in that last guard spot, and he sneaked past a early favorite in Dwayne Wade. Now, this is Dwayne Wade's last season. That would have been more of a, I don't want to say pity vote, but more of a legacy vote. They would like the legend of Dwayne Wade, showing respect to him and voting him in as a starter would have been nice, but he really isn't playing that good. So I think he's going to end up sneaking on as a reserve. But anything surprising here seems about right for these NBA All-Stars.
I'm sorry, Loudbeard. I was reading tweets about Armageddon situations to stop the Patriots versus the Cowboys Super Bowl next year.
Yep, the zombie apocalypse tweet. I saw that. That was David Green, a good listener of the show and friend of the show. I think that tweeted that out. Good for him to encourage a zombie apocalypse instead of watching the Patriots Cowboys.
There was a better one.
Michael
Corvallis said, "Where we wake up and every sleeping spot is a cactus." Sorry, I was just trying to wrap my mind about what that would look like, and I kind of zoned. I apologize, Loudbeard. What was your question?
Never mind.
No, I'm so sorry, man. That was very rude of me. I'm a very bad co-host.
Yeah,
it's just when you
everybody already
see
knows that. Don't
when you
state
see
the
a
obvious
scenario
too much.
where we wake up and every sleeping spot is a cactus. Now I'm like thinking about like how does that kill me though? Like it's probably going to be very highly discomfortable and painful, but I don't know.
Yeah, it would be a high degree of discomfort, and it would be terrible to sleep every night. But I don't know. It's just more like a torturous world than anything else, and that's what it would be if it was the Cowboys versus the Patriots. You wouldn't. There's no winning. All you do is go to bed on a cactus every night because it's prickly. You don't have any choice. And for our listeners, if you want to know what we're talking about, we out there on Twitter we posed who would you go for, Cowboys or Patriots if it was a Cowboys-Patriots Super Bowl because we know they're the two most hated but most loved teams in their own right minds.
We really want to know who's the most hated. You can judge which team is more hated by by how many people root against them if they make it to the Super Bowl.
And it was last time I looked, it was pretty close. It was about even, maybe one vote ahead by one of the.
It's 6-5 Patriots to lose.
Okay.
So people want to see the Patriots lose more than the Cowboys, which is surprising to me.
Nah, I think that's about right because the Cowboys haven't won in so long. People have kind of like forgot about that, and
they forget how obnoxious Cowboy fans can be.
Right. That whole stink is kind of worn off. Whereas the Patriots are fresh. It's a fresh stink. You know, like just.
And it's been hanging around for 20 years.
Yeah. Yep. Not going away. That stink right there.
Like we've tried cleaning out our car. We've Febrezed the car, but for whatever reason, there's just this lingering smell.
Ugh. Gross, Chris America. Absolutely gross for this morning. So Chris America,
Back
I was
to the
naming
All-Star
off the NBA All-Stars. I was just saying, is there any surprises here? I don't really think there is. I mean, Anthony Davis not making the starting lineup, I think, is a good thing. And the fact that Paul George actually is there as a starter and Russell Westbrook isn't kind of shows that the Oklahoma City Thunder aren't just like a one superstar-centric team. Paul George is a legitimate number one superstar. And I'm just excited to see him there because he deserves it. He's playing out of his mind defensively. He's doing a lot offensively. And good to see Paul George making the starting lineup for the All-Stars. And then on the Eastern side, Kemba Walker, that was a little bit of a surprise. But when you go through the East on the guards, I mean, he's a great guard. So I don't know if I can name a better guard to be in that position. I wouldn't vote Dwayne Wade in, but Kemba making it, hey, good for him.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad to see the Greek Freak be the other All-Star captain. I mean, obviously, that's a big part of that is because LeBron James left and went to the West. Now, do you think Kawhi deserved to be captain over Giannis?
You know, there's an argument there. There's definitely an argument there. But to me, Giannis is playing out of his mind. He's the clear-cut number one. You can make an argument for Kawhi. You could make an argument for Kyrie, to be honest with you. Even Joel Embiid. I think those other three guys are right there, right behind Giannis. But I do think Giannis is a little bit ahead of all of them. And right choice. Absolutely right choice there.
Now, do you think if these were actual teams and they actually played each other, not in some all-star exhibition game mode, if let's say one was the Lakers and one was the Toronto Raptors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the East would have a legitimate shot against the West?
Just looking at the lineup here. The answer is going to be yes.
The 5-on-5 is what I'm asking. I'm not talking about the bench players, just the 5-on-5.
No. Well, they haven't named the reserves yet, so it was just the starters that were named. So
I gotcha.
No bench players. Just looking at it, I'm looking at it up and down. To me, it would be one of those things. If you played them 10 times, the West would win 8 out of 10. I think the East would have a shot, and on low percentages would win a couple, but 8 out of 10 games, the West would win over the East with all that talent in the West.
Yeah, you look at number one, LeBron is just the offsetter there, and then you have Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and James Harden. While Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving, and Joel Embiid are all good players, borderline great players, they just don't match up to Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and James Harden.
Right, and to me, that almost makes the choice of Paul George being on that starting lineup that amazing because, I mean, you're talking about the best players in the league: LeBron, Steph, James Harden, Kevin Durant. That's like 1 through 4 of the best players in the NBA on the Western Conference, and then you got Paul George, who could be in that conversation at 5. Like Paul George would be up there with Giannis and Kawhi and Joel Embiid, but the West has 1 through 4.
Yeah, he kind of lucks out just for the fact that there aren't that many good small forwards in the West right now, so he's kind of the best of that group. Whereas if he was another position, he wouldn't be on this starting 5.
Well, they do it as front court and back court nowadays. So
do they?
They've changed the format a little bit, so they don't require that there's a center necessarily. They just say front court players. So forwards and centers are all picked together, so you get grouped in as 3. So Anthony Davis is a power forward, and he was the other guy fighting for Paul George.
Right.
And even though Paul George is a small forward, and then you do your backcourt, which is just going to be your shooting guard and
your point
guard.
Yeah.
Right. So they took away that because they were realizing there's less and less really good centers left in the league because it's become a small ball league, and they wanted to try to make it where it was a little bit more fair. They didn't want a guy like Dwight Howard, who had been underperforming, to be a starter as an all-star when you've got 5 power forwards that are better than him, but because that power forward position was stacked, those guys weren't getting the opportunity, and we were voting in somebody just because of his position. So they did switch that up a little bit, though you could legitimately say, well, I mean, I guess when you look at it, there's not really a center on the Western Conference side, only on the East with Joel Embiid. But on the West, they're like, we don't even care about centers because we just shoot 3-pointers.
We just shoot 3-pointers. We just need a tall stretch 5.
Yep.
That's what they have, like you said, a front court and a back court.
Yep, and that's good. I actually like that format a lot. Now the reserves will be named next Thursday, so we'll get to hear. We'll get to talk about it another week from now, and we'll kind of move on from there. We talked a little bit about Pro Bowl weekend and about how we could fix that. I really don't have anything to say about Pro Bowl weekend. I went there last year because it is here in Orlando where we live. But you have anything you want to add about this upcoming Pro Bowl? Are you excited, Chris America?
No, I don't watch any All-Star games. I really don't. They've never excited me. It's just an exhibition game. And then every single year, whether it's the Major League Baseball or these All-Star games coming up, these 3, they try to figure out ways to make it more interesting and to get more viewership. And I just say, look, you either like them or you don't. You either think it's fun to see all of these big-name athletes come together and have fun and play a little pickup basketball or a little pickup football and just kind of play around. Then if that's your thing, that's your thing. That's cool. If it's not, it's not. Stop trying to make it into something it's not, because I've always said, and I said it when we were talking about our fantasy 3-way All-Star game, I don't want to see my players on my team get hurt in an All-Star game. I just don't. If my quarterback if Dwight Howard when he was on the Magic, if Steven Stamkos broke an ankle or twisted an ankle and was out for the season during the All-Star game, I would be pissed. And I don't think it's that important to have a lot of viewers. Like, I think the leagues all make enough money to where they can take a hit on their All-Star games.
Yeah, see, I have a different viewpoint. Now, I don't watch the All-Star games so much, but I do. There's a couple things I like. One, the Home Run Derby for Major League Baseball. I love the Home Run Derby. It's one of my favorite events to watch each year in baseball. The other one, I love the 3-point contest with the NBA, and I'm one of the few people that still like the dunk contest. So those skill challenge type events,
I love the skill challenges.
those I love, and that's part of the whole All-Star weekend. Now, the games themselves, sometimes I'll watch the NBA game. It's become more of a, like, they'll score 180 points. They don't play zero defense. They have fun. They're shooting crazy shots. They're doing crazy dunks. It became like the Globetrotters, and that, to me, is interesting, but, like, there's no competition there. They don't even really care who wins or not. Sometimes towards the end of the game, it'll get a little competitive because they don't want their team to lose, but they've had fun all game, and so that's how that is. And the NFL's kind of gotten the same way where they don't play defense, and they just kind of launch the ball down the field and try to do a bunch of bombs. So there's some entertainment there. I don't think it should go away, but I don't think the leagues should look at it and say, oh, this is going to be a huge revenue creation. We're going to get all these viewers, all this. It's fun. It's a little side note, and let them do it. I think the players get a little bit of a break. They get to kind of enjoy themselves for the Pro Bowl. They come down to Orlando. Their families are going to Disney. It's a nice getaway for some of these players, and it is prestigious to get voted to some of these teams. To be an NBA All-Star, to be selected to the Pro Bowl. When you look at players' Wikipedia, and players, they care about these things, and it says 6 Pro Bowl appearances. That's a big deal to players. That means a lot to them, and that helps them down the road when it becomes Hall of Fame time if they're that good of a player. Sometimes how many All-Star games you go to. LeBron James, 15 All-Star games. Is that the most of all time? Is he going to get to the most of all time? Is he going to beat Kobe Bryant for All-Star appearances? These are things we discuss. I like the games. I think we should keep them, but we can agree to disagree, my friend.
No, I don't want to get rid of them because like I said, if you enjoy them, have at it, man. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, take them away, don't do this. I just hate when the conversation is, what can we do to make them more entertaining to get more people to watch? And my thing is,
hey, just lay down and let it be, and
just let it be, man. Just stop talking about it. Like, there's nothing you can do to make it, like, unless you're willing to, like, put up $5 million to each player who on the winning team. I don't see you doing anything to generate a competitiveness with these guys to want to go hard during an exhibition game. These guys have too much on the line. Now, like you said, like, they love making the All-Star game because it kicks in those contract bonuses, and it also gives a little feather in their cap so they can say, yeah, I did make 5, 6, or in LeBron James's case, 15 All-Stars. And then fans love it because when they're starting to talk about who has the most All-Star appearances between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and they're using that as their argument, and LeBron James as to who's the best of all time, they like to throw that in there. And it's fun. Like I said, I'm not against it. If you want to watch it, have at it, man. Who am I here to tell you how to live your life? You watching the All-Star game does nothing to my life, man.
Thank you. Well, when you were saying that they need to just chill out about it, I thought you meant like get rid of it, but you were just saying stop talking about trying to make it a big deal. I agree with you on that.
Figure out like when Major League Baseball had the All-Star game decide who gets home field advantage of the World Series, I thought it was the dumbest rule in all of sports because you're going to like let the team that worked hard all season be punished because their league couldn't win a exhibition game? That made no sense. So I was glad to see they changed it after a few decades, it felt like.
It took some time, but they did it, and they did it right. All right, we're going to move on from these All-Star games. We got a couple minutes left before the commercial break, and after the commercial break, make sure you stay tuned because we do have an amazing fantasy draft that we do. Every Friday, we try to throw in a little fun, do a fun segment with a fantasy draft. So stay tuned for that. Chris America, I'm trying not to jump around sports here too much. We talked about the NBA All-Star game. Oladipo, we talked about yesterday. He has officially been confirmed out for the season. He ended up with a ruptured quad tendon. So Oladipo's done. Sad story there in Indiana. I won't harp on that too much, but I don't think he's going to make the All-Star game after that bad injury. Tiger Watch 2019 has officially begun. We can talk now. Tiger Woods, will he make a major? When will he make a major? Blah, 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 blah. But Tiger Watch starts now. He finishes his first day at 2 under. He shoots a 70 at Torrey Pines. He's 8 strokes behind the leader, John Ram. We got all weekend to enjoy this Farmers Insurance Open.
Yeah, and where is he at on the leaderboard, did you say?
I didn't see where he was at on the leaderboard. I just know he's 8 strokes behind, so he's still within striking distance. You know, Tiger likes to make his run on Friday, Saturday.
That's where he was when I got an update yesterday. He was like on the 5th or 6th hole. He was 1 over par, and he was 8 strokes behind the leaderboard. So glad to know he didn't move anything from the 5th or 6th hole to today. Yeah, Torrey Pines, great golf course. Beautiful out there. I think that's in California, right? San Diego?
Yeah, I believe so.
Sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to see what Tiger can do again. I made the bold prediction last year that he was going to win a major. I couldn't tell which one, and there was a couple of majors where he was close, Loudbeard, and the world was watching. As much as Tiger haters don't want to admit it, Tiger Woods drives golf ratings, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So golf needs him to play in some finals, and we need him to win a major, man.
We do. We absolutely do. All right, Chris America, I think we're at that point where it's time to go to a commercial break.
Yeah,
you want to
Loudbeard.
tell our listeners anything before we head out?
Well, yeah, I think you mentioned LeBron James, even though he was injured, that he was the captain. I think the Lakers need to shut LeBron down for the rest of the season.
Say what?
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. Ah, 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-ounce sports radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune into us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Yeah, good morning and welcome back on this beautiful Friday. We are the Scout Team. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We're bringing it to you hot and live like we do each and every AM, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. and again at 11 a.m. on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. You can listen to 12-Ounce Sports Radio with the TuneIn app. Download it and search 12-Ounce Sports Radio or go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. We are also now affiliated with the Barn Burner Network. We are excited to be a part of the Barn Burner Network. They play our show. We haven't got a set time slot, but we will soon. We are trying out a few different times, but we are there. Make sure you check it out, Barn Burner Network. Also, if you have not gotten a chance to catch all the shows and you want to go back and listen, you missed yesterday's show and there was some really great sports takes on yesterday's show, make sure you download our podcast. It's available at scoutteamradio.com, or you can download it on Apple Podcasts. You just search Scout Team Radio and you will find it. Well,
yeah, make
Chris
sure you hit
America-
that subscribe button.
Oh yeah, subscribe.
You hit that
sucker.
subscribe, it just downloads to your phone as soon as Loudbeard uploads it right after this episode is over. And if you're not up bright and early like we are, it'll be there ready for you by 7:15, 7:30. You can listen to us on your way into work.
Yeah, that's right. You always got to listen to the Scout Team. I'm telling you, this is the entertainment that you want.
Because it's
an
fresh.
entertainment you
it's
need.
hot. It's
It
hot
is.
like
It's
this
all
hot
of the
take I'm
above.
going to have. And it's not my hot take, Loudbeard. I was listening to the Rich Eisen show, and the great Chris Webber was on there. And he had an interesting thought that said the Lakers need to shut down LeBron James for the rest of the season. And his point was, and I agreed with it, they're not going to win an NBA title this year. So what's the point of putting all these extra miles on LeBron James through the regular season, and then however many extra miles, whether it's the first round, second round, and hey, maybe they do make a magic run to the third round, but chances are very slim that the LA Lakers are good enough this year for LeBron James to carry all the way to the NBA Finals to an NBA championship. So what's the point of putting all those miles on an aging, not an old, but an aging LeBron James if you're not going to win a title?
I can't agree with this take anymore because I believe that LeBron James needs a little bit of a break. I'm with you. The Lakers aren't going to go far if he rests the rest of the season to help recover from this nasty groin injury that he had, that he needs an entire season to recover from. If he recovers all year long from that, one, the Lakers will most likely not make the playoffs and get at least an opportunity at a lottery draft and maybe get high in the draft. We'll see. We'll see what that would look like.
Can you imagine if the 12th or 13th lottery pick got the number one overall pick in,
and it was the Lakers?
and
You know how
it
many
was the Lakers?
conspiracy
Oh
theories
my
there would be? People
we
would be losing their mind.
our minds. And then
We would
Zion
call that
Williamson
Yes.
goes to the
Yes.
Lakers.
We
That would be the
call that
worst.
producer
You know
of that
what?
Saints video.
Forget what I said. LeBron, come back. Play for the Lakers. Make the playoffs, please.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. That would be, we would live in a crazy world. But that's a possibility, right? So if LeBron doesn't play, they miss the playoffs, they got an opportunity at getting a high pick in the lottery. It may be a small opportunity because the bad teams get even more picks than the better teams. But the Lakers, man, this is a chance. I mean, it doesn't sound right because you don't want to give up on your season. Nobody ever wants to give up on their season, especially when you have the greatest player in the world. The Lakers had been down for a couple years, and ever since Kobe left, they really haven't had that big superstar. And then they bring in LeBron, and they have all this hope. But sometimes you got to give up something today to get something better tomorrow, right? And that would be what the Lakers would look at. And Magic Johnson is a smart dude. I think this is something that he should do. And yes, Lakers, rest the man. Shut him down for the year. It is time to look to the future. And, I mean, I'm just saying this could be their time for the Lakers to really set their franchise back into being an elite franchise by making that right decision, because they're going to be big-time players in free agency. They may be players in this upcoming trade deadline. They're going to be retooling, and they're going to get players around LeBron. There are superstars out there that would love to play with LeBron, and there's going to be some good free agents this season. Shut them down. Let's play for next year. The Lakers could be contenders next year if they play their cards right.
They could be, and it would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah. It's like going for the Cowboys. The Cowboys should tank, get a high draft pick, and then make it to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. That's what we're looking at right now.
That is what we're looking at. I mean, and LA fans, they'd have the Rams, they'd have the Lakers. I don't know. Unless it's Orlando, man, I hate seeing cities that have multiple teams winning championships.
Yeah. Now, question for you. Do you think we're a little bit soured on LA because they stole Shaq and then took Dwight Howard from us, and we're still bitter?
I'm more bitter about them taking Shaq from us than Dwight Howard, because Dwight Howard went and basically helped bring down the Lakers, so it's kind of like a Trojan horse thing, where Shaquille O'Neal just absolutely crushed it in LA.
Yeah, that's the difference of winning 2 or 3 extra NBA championships if Shaq stays in Orlando, or where Orlando is now and they have no championship.
It was like watching your first love leave you and then go to some wealthy guy and she just kills it with him.
Yeah, she marries Tony Romo and has 3 beautiful kids.
Or it's just basically, like, imagine being like Beyonce was your first love, right? And then she leaves you and then ends up with Jay-Z and one of the best singers of all time, and you have to sit in your home, wherever you're from, watching that.
That would hurt. That would hurt. I agree with that. So we both agree LeBron should shut it down for the year. Let's see what the Lakers do. It could be interesting. Now, you had another question. We have our fantasy draft. We're going to be tight on time. We might have to be quick with our draft, but I like this question. You said Robert Horry or James Harden, whose career would you rather have? You texted me that, and I thought about this, and I kind of want to change it a little bit. What if I said like Robert Horry or Charles Barkley? Charles Barkley is considered one of the best players of all time, never winning a championship. You're in the Hall of Fame. You're a commentator. You're all of these things, but Robert Horry has all those rings. Would you rather be one of the best champions of all time or be one of the best individual players of all time? Now, when you say James Harden, I think James Harden, because his career has so much more ahead of it, it's hard to say. But if I looked at James Harden right now today and Robert Horry, I still think the individual stuff matters a lot. And that's a tough question, Chris America. You stumped me. I'm going to go with my gut. And, gosh, I can't even think of this right now.
Let's table it. Sleep on it for the entire weekend. We'll come back Monday since we don't have NFL football to talk about ad nauseum like we do most Mondays. We'll save it for there. And let's roll with our fantasy football, or not fantasy football. Okay. So
fantasy
for the new listeners, just a fantasy draft, Friday fantasy draft. We come up with various topics. Sometimes it's football. Sometimes it's Christmas movies. You know, it's all kind of craziness. We had Halloween candy on Halloween, horror movies, that kind of stuff. So we do a quick little draft, and then we post it on Twitter, and you, the fans, can respond by who wins between myself and Loudbeard. It's a lot of fun. Now, Loudbeard, we don't have a lot of time, so I think we should shrink this list from 5 to 3 picks.
Okay,
and
that makes it easier because there's some of these coaches that I really like that I'm like, ew, they're considered one of the bad coaches, but still like them.
No, well, there's a lot of coaches where you get through like 4 or 5 of them, and then you're like, okay, so now I have to pick like, John Madden. John Madden's not a bad coach.
Right. Yep.
All right,
Yep.
so you got the pick. I got to pick first last week. Sir, it is your first pick.
All right, well, you had texted me ahead of time because you said there's one guy that you think is head and shoulders above everybody else. I kind of disagree with you. I disagree with your so I know you're going to take him probably with your number 1 pick, but my number 1 pick, and this is me maybe being a little bit of a Cowboys hater, me thinking that Jimmy Johnson was one of the best coaches of all time, and he was done dirty by Jerry Jones, and this man was brought in, the one and only Barry Switzer, who had all the talent in the world. They could have won a Super Bowl without a coach, but Barry Switzer was there, and he got a ring, being, to me, the worst coach to ever win a Super Bowl.
Wow. I like that pick. Barry was on my radar. Had him written down. He's probably going to be like my second or third. He was definitely going to be 4th or 5th if we went that deep. But, all right, so I'm going to have to take my guy. I thought in this list last week we did the best coaches not to win a Super Bowl. Now we're doing the worst coaches to win a Super Bowl. And I thought, well, last week you said we got to take Andy Reid out because whoever picks Andy Reid's going to win. And I thought John Gruden was the Andy Reid of this category, hands down. I even want to call this the John Gruden Award, whoever won it. But, yeah, I'm going to go with John Gruden. He won 1 Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then Tampa Bay has not won a playoff game ever since. That's how much he drove Tampa Bay into the ground.
Yeah, and he had Tony Dungy's team. This is a good pick for you, Chris America. I know you love John Gruden, so I wanted to make sure I left him there for you. But I
So-
had to put Barry Switzer ahead.
And you know
I
what?
had to.
They're both basically the same guy. Because if Jerry Jones would have given him the 8 or 9 years like John Gruden got, he would have driven the Cowboys into the ground. And he
absolutely.
actually kind of did, because the Cowboys haven't done much since then. Now he only was there for one season where he went, I think, 6-10 before he got fired after in his fourth season. So he wasn't allowed to run them in the ground like John Gruden was, but they're basically the same guy. They came into a ready-built team and just carried a great team, or the great team carried him to a Super Bowl championship. So, Loudbeard, who's your number 2?
Let's see. Number 2, I'm going to have to go, and I'm just going to give a shout-out real quick here. Mike Berlani said, right on, John Gruden is garbage. Good pick there, Chris America. So you're getting some support from Craft Brewed Sports. Okay, so this could be a challenge. When this goes onto Twitter, this could be kind of rough. I'm going to have to go, and this is going back quite a ways, but to me, Don McCafferty, who was the coach of the Baltimore Colts, is one of the worst coaches ever to win a Super Bowl. I'm going Don McCafferty for my second pick.
Yeah, I never. You went way back, man. I don't know. You might even have to put Colts in parentheses so people kind of know, like, hey, go look him up. So that way you know that he was 32-18-2 in his career and didn't deserve a Super Bowl championship. But I was kind of looking at those older guys, and man, there weren't that many coaches to win Super Bowls back then. There was like 5 new ones, like Vince Lombardi, Weeb Eubank, Hank Strom, and Don McCafferty. And then it was just all Tom Landry, Don Shula, and Chuck Noll for like the longest time, for like 10 or 12 years. It was just nuts. I'm going to have to go back to these days and age. I'm going to go with the guy that just got a 4-year extension by the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going John Harbaugh.
Okay. That's not a bad choice there. I'm gonna follow your John Harbaugh, and I'm gonna up you one, and I'm gonna say Brian Billick, also Baltimore, and also a one-hit wonder.
Brian Billick, wow. And
he won with Ray Lewis and that nasty defense, and he was considered an offensive guy, and that offense was absolutely trash, but that defense was so good, it won that championship. And they did have Jamal Lewis, who was good running back, but I mean that was that Ray Lewis team, and with Ed Reed, that was one of the best defenses of all time. And I don't think that was Brian Billick winning that Super Bowl. That was the Ravens winning that Super Bowl. So I got to go Brian Billick.
So we're on our last pick here, right, Loudbeard? That's a good pick.
That was my last pick.
That one makes me a little nervous, and I'm trying to decide between Mike McCarthy and Gary Kubiak. Oh, it's tough. It's tough because they both have decent records. And then I mentioned that Weeb Eubank guy. I don't even know how good he was. He was 130. He was 130, 129, and 7. But I don't know anybody's going to know who Weeb Eubank is. I honestly, I'll pull the trigger. I'll put Weeb on my list just because his name's Weeb. And you have a guy from that generation, so I'll throw him on there. Gary Kubiak and Mike McCarthy, I think a lot of people like those guys. And they have decent records in their overall records. So come on down, Weeb. You're the next contestant on the Chris America is Right.
And I'm with you. If I was going with a fourth pick, my fourth pick probably would have been McCarthy. I would have gone McCarthy with my fourth pick. I've got a pretty good list here, and this is where things get kind of interesting after you go McCarthy, Kubiak. Then you start looking at guys like Dick Vermeil or Sean Payton or Pete Carroll
or
Mike
George
Ditka,
Seifert.
George Seifert, Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
Bill
Tony
Cowher.
Dungy, but he's getting consideration, right?
I mean, remember Bill Cowher was the Andy Reid of the 90s.
Good point.
He was that guy where we're like, is he ever going to get over the hump? And I don't know when he started with the Steelers. I want to say it was the early 90s, 92, 93 maybe. And it wasn't until 2005 was that Super Bowl season with the Seattle Seahawks that he won it. And I honestly didn't think Cowher was ever going to get over the hump, to be honest with you, back in the day.
Yeah, and a guy like that playing for this or coaching for the Steelers, he gets a lot of opportunity, right? They don't fire coaches. You're going to get like 10 years as a coach in Pittsburgh no matter what. I mean, you would have to be the worst coach of all time to be able to get out of Pittsburgh shorter than 10 years. They just don't make those decisions very lightly. They make sure they keep their coaches. So Cowher was there, and they were pretty good for most of the time. They had a couple down seasons. But, yeah, he finally got over that hump, and he was absolutely 100% the Andy Reid of that generation. So, great fantasy draft, Chris America. I appreciate you.
Loudbeard, you said you were going to go. You said you're going Mike McCarthy next?
Yes.
All right, why don't you throw that on your list because we still have time. We went through it a little bit faster than we wanted to, and I'll throw Gary Kubiak on my list just to put a little icing on the cake. You know what? Make your fifth pick, too, if you want.
Oh, wow, you're just changing
unless you have other news. No. We'll what do you want to do? You want to stay at 3 or throw in
Let's
McCarthy
do 4.
and
we
Kubiak?
did McCarthy and Kubiak. Okay, I think our lists are complete. No, I don't have a whole lot of other news to go over. I did just get an update. It looks like with the Australian Open, it's going to be Nadal and Djokovic in the finals. So we're getting the men's finals.
Say.
Yes. Not surprising, right? Like the two biggest names.
Tennis has always been that way, man. Because I remember
it's pretty predictable.
In the 90s, it was just like always Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi. And then Sampras would usually end up beating Agassi.
Yep. Yeah. Those were the days. But yeah, tennis is very one-sided. Like they've got or heavy on one side where they've got 3 or 4 big names and everybody knows them, and they're always in the majors, right? They're always in the finals, and every once in a while you get a no-namer who gets beat by one of the other guys. Nadal takes out this guy, or Federer would take out this guy, or Djokovic would take out this guy, but it was always those 3 guys that are always in it, and they've had some sustained success. It's been a long time. It almost seems like we need some new blood in tennis. Andy Roddick just kind of retired, and that was emotional. We need a little bit more love in tennis. You said Harbaugh getting that extension. I'm going to change sports here, back off of tennis. That was great. We got 4 minutes left. You talked about Harbaugh getting that extension. I was going to ask you, Chris America, you listed him as one of the worst winning Super Bowl coaches. Are we over the John Harbaugh thing, or how long are we going to go waiting for John Harbaugh to kind of make that next step? If the Ravens end up going 6-10 next year, do you think he survives and they cut him? I mean, they're giving him an extension, but these teams eat these extensions all the time. If you have a bad season, it could be out. What do you think John Harbaugh's where his threshold is? What he's got to do next year?
Well, I mean, it was interesting they gave him the extension because they moved on from Joe Flacco, right? And his career, John Harbaugh and Joe Flacco, is a tale of two halves. It's the first half of their careers, man. They won a lot of games. They made a lot of postseasons. You looked at the Baltimore Ravens as an actual Super Bowl contender year in and year out. And then once they won that Super Bowl and signed Flacco to that big contract, and all those other players retired from on the defensive side, they kind of just became a team that was there. Like, they were good enough that you didn't want to play the Ravens during the regular season. You knew they could beat your team. But when it came playoff time, you weren't really like, yeah, I'm gung-ho for the Ravens. Like, that's my definite pick to win the Super Bowl. You just kind of knew they might win one game. They might challenge your team a second game, but that was really going to be it. They weren't going to do much. So it's kind of interesting that they got rid of Flacco, but then extended John Harbaugh. I'm not sure what his contract was at. I mean, his overall record's good, 114-78. He's 10-6 in the postseason. He's got a Super Bowl, and he was towards the bottom of our list. I was looking at our list again, and I was thinking, man, maybe we should have gone Pete Carroll instead of John Harbaugh. He seems like a much better pick than John Harbaugh, but I feel like the Harbaugh thing's kind of run its course in Baltimore.
Yeah, how long do you hold on? How long do you hold on hope? And I don't know. I was surprised with this extension. I mean, it's a 4-year extension. Now, he's been good enough. That's, I guess, where we're at. It's the old Marvin Lewis conundrum, right? Good enough.
The old Jeff Fisher.
The old Jeff Fisher, right? We're taking these coaches. Now, the Super Bowl definitely helps because you have that under your belt. You're like, well, he did win a Super Bowl. So that in itself gives you a lot of clout. But how long did the Tampa Bay Bucks hold on to the John Gruden hope after he won a Super Bowl?
And I mean, let's not
a few years, but after 3-4 years, all of a sudden
no, it was like 6 seasons. I mean, it was 2001, 2002 that they won the the Super Bowl, and I think they fired him in 07 or 08, one of those seasons. It had to have been 08 because they made the playoffs in 07 and lost to the Giants. But, yeah, I mean, they waited too long, but he drove that program into the ground where John Harbaugh, like you said, he's just doing enough to keep him afloat. Just doing enough to sneak in the playoffs. They snuck in the playoffs this year. They barely missed the playoffs last year. I think they lost to the Bengals, which sent the Bills to the playoffs. It was a scenario like that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. He definitely belongs on our list, though.
All right, so for Monday, we can talk about this Robert Horry, James Harden conundrum that you've got us into. But I also want you to think about this over the weekend.
Okay.
Will the Panthers ever be a good program again? Because now Cam Newton's going into surgery. Is this the kiss of death? Will the Panthers go under? Will this be the end of the Panthers, Carolina, for life?
At least until we tank and get the number 1 overall pick.
Are you all in?
Tua Tagovailoa, come on down. You're the next contestant.
Tua.
Have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you all for listening